Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show, brought to you by Salvatore's Pizza. Our next guests are from Fairport, Class AA girls soccer champions. Let's first welcome on the ladies. Senior Lillian Hicks joins us. Hi, Lillian.
Hi.
Freshman Liv Kayser. Hi, Olivia.
Hi.
I'm going to go with Olivia. Okay, we're going to go formal. And Coach Tom Natalie, second title in his 10 seasons. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Jeff. How are you?
Good. So, Tom, you and I talked. Special team, special season, obviously a very strange season. How unexpected was this for you? I mean, you guys came into sectionals just above 500, 5-4-1. But how much did this group surprise you, Tom?
Well, so actually, before the season started, I figured that we had a shot at the brick. We had a really good returning team, a lot of great talent, some young talent coming up that could help us put the ball in the back of the net. We were sort of did everything right. We were out shooting every team in every game, and halfway through the season, as you said, we were 3-4-1 after losing to Penfield on Halloween, and we were playing great, but we just weren't getting the results. I did think we could do it, but it was going to take a monumental effort, and that's what the girls put forward at the second half of the season.
So, Olivia Kayser, you're a freshman. We don't have a lot of freshmen on the program, but one of the reasons you are is you had one of the most dramatic goals of the season. 5 seconds left in the championship game. You put it away. Talk about the play. Talk about the moment.
The ball was like bouncing around, and then I think Claudia headed it, and then it went back to Lil, and she crossed it in, and I kind of got a bit of a touch on it, and then I finished.
So it was your first goal of the year.
Yes, it was.
Did you know how to celebrate?
Not really. I was just screaming and yelling, and I went to Belle, my good friend.
Lillian, what was it like for you all? I mean, your senior year going out with a championship, but to have this young lady step up, and it sounds like from what I read that she'd been beating herself up a bit from what Coach Natalie had said about how she hadn't hit the back of the net yet, but how much confidence did you have in her as a freshman being up on the varsity?
I had a lot of confidence in Liv. She's really good with the ball. She's confident with the ball at her feet. So right when my pass went to her feet, I knew it was going in.
So, Tom,
go, Steve.
You talked about the season, and it was, some pieces needed to come together. But the last two games you put, the semifinals are at Penfield. You score early, you hold them off to win. And then in the finals, you score late, probably as dramatic as it can get in regulation. What came together at the end for you guys?
Well, so halfway through the season, we changed up into a two-front. So what we talked about with the girls was to concentrate on pressure, being aggressive, staying connected, and really trying to take the game to the other team and really concentrate on dead balls, corner kicks and direct kicks. We had dominated the stats, but we didn't dominate the scoreboard. And so what we try to do is just get a little better in every area. So we cleaned up, instead of having 5 corner kick plays, we went to 1 corner kick play, defensively and offensively. We tried to simplify things and really make it so that way we could practice and really build our confidence. And the girls really brought the pressure, I would say. In that, if you watch the second half of that match against Hilton, we really gave them no opportunity to get into their game of possession. And it's really, based on the girls' efforts and buying in and understanding that we had the talent. And if we could put that maximum effort in, sometimes you create a little bit of that luck that we were missing in the first half of the year, and we were able to do that.
Lillian, you had played this team a couple weeks before on November 7th, and you beat them 3-2. So you had some confidence from that, but obviously a much different match. What did you take away from that match, and how did you apply it, and how did it help you in this match against a very good Hilton team?
I think it was really going into the game. I think we all had the same mindset. Like, we've lost this team, we've beat this team. Like, it really could go either way, but whoever wanted it more was going to win this game. So I think it was nice that the whole team wanted it, not just like the starters, like even the bench people wanted it. Like, everyone on Fairport wanted it. So I think that's why we won it.
So Liv, what was the bus ride like home? I mean, we've talked to some people about the joy that had the opportunity to win a sectional championship on their own field, but you won it on somebody else's field, and then there's a ride home across the county. Talk about that ride, and I mean, the big question too is, did you get fire trucks?
Me?
Yeah, the escort and things like that, or no?
Oh yeah, I didn't know what was going on at first, and I was like, wait, what are we doing? Stopping in like the parking lot. I thought we were going to Wegmans. I was super confused. And then like the police came and it was awesome.
Liv, let me ask you about being a goal scorer that can't find the net. I've talked to many of them over the years, and I know this. If you weren't good enough, Coach Natalie wouldn't have had you on the field all year long, but he had confidence in you. How much did you beat yourself up? And I guess, how did you try to stay positive?
I was very negative. I'm already hard on myself, like in general, but my parents were always like pushing me, and they got frustrated when I didn't shoot. And then when I did shoot and miss, I would get very upset with myself, but I just kept my head up and ended up being good.
So Lil, what did you like the most about this team? I mean, you get to go out a champion, and I would imagine that beating Penfield in the semifinals probably wasn't anything that was pretty special, and then going over to Hilton seems like the perfect way to end your career.
Yeah, this team we were really close off the field and obviously on the field too. Like we all had a different connection this year. Like normally like teams can like branch off into different groups, but this team was like one big group. Like everyone was part of it.
Coach, when I meet you somewhere 10 years from now and I ask about that 2020 team, what will come to mind first?
2020. I would say that determination. That we kept on telling them that they were good enough and they needed to figure it out for themselves. And on our run of our last 5 games, they did figure it out, and they were determined as all heck to bring that trophy home. And then they really, once again, you as coaches, you can sit there and say, well, we did this in formation, that, and whatever. It really came from an effort from the people on the field, and as Lillian said, the people off the field. Our practices were excellent going down the stretch, and this group was determined.
Who were some of the other key contributors for you, Tom?
Kayla Maxwell was a rock in the back in defense. And then we lost one of our starting defenders, Morgan Donovan, with an ACL during the year. And Juliana Noves stepped up as a senior, played a role there. We played in a 3-back the whole second half of the season. Katie DM is a monster in the middle of the field for us. Claudia Giambrone, probably the hardest working player in my 32 years that I've coached. The kid's always on the ground and battling. She's a great softball player over at Fairport and a heck of a soccer player. Bella Pucci, she was a big scorer on JV last year, and she found her stride in the second half of the year for us. The list goes on. I can't, we had other people step up, off the bench, Meredith Shell in the middle of the field, and Erica Yancey, a lot of people playing a role. Even some of our JV players had to come up because we had so many injuries at the end of the year. We had 8 people out on our game on the 7th. So we had 5 JV players come up so that way we could actually continue to scrimmage and practice together. So it was a real group effort, and we couldn't do it with, all those players that we just mentioned.
So you had a bunch of starters out against Hilton and the November 7th game and still managed to win. So, geez, based on that, you probably didn't do a good coaching job in the championship game. You only beat them by a goal again. So, just kidding. I'm just kidding. By the way, is that a Walter Payton jersey? Is that what that is?
Jersey, yes, it is.
Well, that is sweetness for sure. That was Walter Payton's nickname, ladies. That's what that means. Olivia Kayser, good luck on having a great career. Hopefully we'll talk to you again on the radio. Thanks for coming on the program. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And let's hope there's about 10 times as many goals next fall, okay? Lillian Hicks, thanks for coming on the show. And Coach Natalie, is always great to talk to you. Congratulations on title number 2 in 10 years at Fairport. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
We'll take our next break. As we do, I want to tell you about my good friends from Bath Fitter. We couldn't do this show without the great sponsors in our community. this time of in the pandemic, please support local. These guys have been doing this in Rochester for more than 20 years. Call them up at 617-0007. Check out their website, bathfitter.com. Folks, there's a reason they're top 5 in the country in volume of sales in this market for Bath Fitter. It's because they do great work. So please support them because they support local high school sports. We're going to break. You're listening to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show, brought to you by Salvador's Pizza.